of the Philippines. I am Noreen Pagkatipunan of the Philippine Statistics Authority, and I will be your moderator for this conference. Let me now introduce to you the officials of the Philippine Statistics Authority and the National Economic and Development Authority. From PSA, we have Assistant Secretary Josie B. Perez and OIC Deputy National Statistician Rosalinda P. Bautista. From NEDA, we have Undersecretary Adoracion M. Navarro and Assistant Secretary Carlos Bernardo O. Abad Santos. To start our press conference, please welcome ASEC Josie B. Perez for the presentation on the 2018 first semester official poverty statistics of the Philippines.
Good morning, everyone. The PSA is pleased to report the official poverty statistics for the first semester of 2018. In the first semester of 2018, a family of 5 needed at least 10,481 pesos on average to meet both basic food and non-food needs in a month. This is an increase of 10.9% from the poverty threshold in the first semester of 2015, estimated at 9,453 pesos. Poverty incidence among Filipino families in the first semester of 2018 was estimated at 16.1%. This means that 16 out of 100 families whose incomes were below the amount needed to buy their basic food and non-food needs in the first semester of 2018. This was estimated at 22.2% in the same period in 2015. The number of poor Filipino families in the first semester of 2018 is estimated at 4 million. In the first semester of 2015, this was estimated at 5 million. Poverty incidence among Filipinos in the first semester of 2018 was estimated at 21%, which means that 21 out of 100 Filipinos belong to poor families whose incomes were below the amount needed to buy their food, their basic food and non-food needs. During the same period in 2015, poverty incidence among Filipinos was recorded at 27.6%. About 23.1 million Filipinos had incomes that fall before the poverty threshold in the first semester of 2018. For the same period in 2015, this was estimated at 28.8 million Filipinos. In the first semester of 2018, a family of 5 needed at least 7,337 pesos on average to meet their family's basic food needs in a month. This is an increase of 11.2% from first semester 2015, which was estimated at 6,600 pesos. The subsistence incidence among Filipino families was estimated at 6.2% in the first semester of 2018. This means that 6 out of 100 Filipino families whose incomes were below the amount needed to buy the basic food needs in the first semester of 2018. In the same period in 2015, the proportion of families who are food poor was recorded at 9.9%. About 1.5 million families fall below the food threshold in the first semester of 2018. In the same period in 2015, this was estimated at 2.2 million families. Among population, about 9 out of 100 Filipinos belong to poor families whose incomes were below the amount needed to buy their basic food needs during the first semester of 2018. For the same period in 2015, this was estimated at 13%. This translates to 9.3 million Filipinos whose income falls short of the food threshold in the first semester of 2018. This was estimated at 13.6 million in the first semester of 2015. At the regional level, average poverty threshold for a family of 5 was observed to be highest at the National Capital Region, with 11,752 pesos in a month during the first semester of 2018. On the other hand, Mimaropa registered the lowest average poverty threshold for a family of 5 in a month, with 9,517 pesos for the same period. Among the 17 regions, NCR posted the lowest poverty incidence among families with 4.9% in the first semester of 2018. On the other hand, the poverty incidence among families in ARMM was 55.4% in the first semester of 2018. Similarly, among the regions, NCR posted the lowest poverty incidence among population with 6.6% in the first semester of 2018. The poverty incidence among population in ARMM was 63%. Similar to the poverty threshold, NCR posted the highest food threshold among the regions with 8,206 average food threshold for a family of 5 in a month in the first semester of 2018. Mimaropa was estimated to have the lowest food threshold with 6,625 average food threshold for a family of 5 in a month for the same period in 2018. In terms of subsistence incidence among families, NCR had 1.6% in the first semester of 2018, while ARMM had 29.1%. Among population, NCR had subsistence incidence of 2% in the first semester 2018, while ARMM posted 36%. Similar to previous releases, provinces are grouped based on poverty incidence among families and the lower and upper bound of the poverty incidence. Cluster 1 refers to those provinces with relatively high poverty incidence. Cluster 5 refers to the group of provinces with relatively low poverty incidence, referred to as least poor cluster. In the first semester of 2018, there were 3 provinces belonging to the poorest cluster. These provinces were Basilan, Lanao del Sur, and Sulu. Meanwhile, there were 18 provinces and 4 districts of NCR belonging in the least poor cluster. In 2015, 10 provinces belonged to this cluster. Those highlighted in blue were consistently in the least poor cluster since 2015. These maps represent the clustering of provinces based on the poverty incidence among families. There were more provinces in the first semester of 2018 with shades of green than those in first semester of 2015, which means more provinces had relatively low poverty incidences in 2018. Given the new master sample, the PSA is able to generate reliable statistics down to the provincial level as well as for the highly urbanized cities or HUCs. Hence, we are able to generate poverty and subsistence incidences for these HUCs. This table presents the poverty and subsistence incidences among families for the cities of NCR, including Pateros. It can be observed that these cities have relatively low poverty incidences, ranging from 0.9% to 20.3%, and subsistence incidence from 0.3 to 7.9%. The Philippine Statistics Authority appreciates your presence in this press conference on the first semester 2018 official poverty statistics. Thank you and good morning.
10,000 daw.
Thank you very much, Asek Perez. At this point, we shall hear the statement of Yusek Adoracion M. Navarro.
Members of the Philippine Statistics Authority, colleagues from NEDA, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I will be delivering NEDA's statement on behalf of our Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Ernesto Pernia, who is currently representing the country at the IMF World Bank Spring Meetings in Washington, D.C. Together with the Philippine Statistics Authority and the rest of the NEDA family, we are pleased to present the results of the preliminary report of the Family Income and Expenditure Survey, or FICE, for 2018. As reported by PSA, poverty incidence among Filipinos has decreased to 21% during the first half of 2018 from the adjusted 27.6% during the first half of 2015. Over the course of 3 years, we can see that poverty decreased substantially, down by 6.6 percentage points, thanks to sustained economic growth and critical and broad-based reforms and investments that have translated to employment generation and social protection. For one, growth in the construction and manufacturing sectors created more employment opportunities for Filipinos. Second, we like to highlight the increase in income of Filipino households, as well as employment shifts to the industry and service sectors from agriculture. While inflation rose to 8.1% in the period of 2015 to 2018, from 7.8% in 2012 to 2015, the growth of average income accelerated considerably to 21.2% from 15.3% respectively. Importantly, growth in per capita income of the bottom 30% of households picked up significantly to 29.2% in the 2015 to 2018 period, from only 20.6% in the 2012 to 2015 period. This implies an increase in real incomes of the poor, which has helped in reducing poverty among Filipinos. We note that the top contributor to the strong income growth for the poorest 30% of households was an increase in wage and salary incomes. A far second and third were domestic cash receipts or support, including from government and entrepreneurial activities. These indicate that the pace, average of 6.5% GDP growth in 2012 to 2018, the quality and the consistency of economic growth over the past 7 years continue to benefit the poor. In particular, the growing contribution of industry, particularly construction and manufacturing, to output and employment, are creating more income-earning opportunities that are accessible to the poor. Furthermore, the implementation, expansion, and enhancement of government social programs has also helped augment incomes. One of these is the continued implementation of the Conditional Cash Transfer Program, which now includes an additional 600 peso rice subsidy cash grant. The coverage of the social pension program widened to over 3.1 million Filipinos in 2018, from only 930,000 indigent senior beneficiaries in 2015. Also, the rollout of unconditional cash transfers, or UCT, of 2,400 pesos per household likely boosted domestic cash receipts of the poor. The unconditional cash transfer program was released in early 2018 to cushion vulnerable groups from the transitory effects of the tax reform law. As a result of these social programs and policies, subsistence incidents also declined by 4.5 percentage points to 8.5% among individuals and declined by 3.7 percentage points to 6.2% among families in the first semester of 2018. Subsistence incidence refers to Filipinos living in extreme poverty and could not afford basic food requirements. Moreover, the reduction in poverty is fairly broad-based. Regional disparity is, as all regions except the National Capital Region, saw a drop in poverty incidence. Let me reiterate that. Regional disparity is, as all regions except the National Capital Region, saw a drop in poverty incidence. 8 regions recorded poverty incidence below national average, 4 of which posted a single-digit poverty incidence. While these initial results are encouraging, we have yet to wait for full-year results of the FIES, as targets in the Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022 are based on full-year estimates. Overall, it is encouraging to see poverty continuing to decline as lives of Filipinos continue to improve. We hope to see robust economic growth and a growing labor market temper the effects of recent high inflation on poverty in the second half of 2018. We recognize that many challenges remain, and the resolve to reduce inequality does not end. Moving forward, government has to take advantage of the momentum it has built in recent years, while earnestly pursuing other key reforms. One is strengthening partnerships with local government units to expand and enhance the implementation of social programs, specifically the efficient and safe delivery of cash payouts to beneficiaries of the Conditional Cash Transfer Program. We will also see through policies that will help stabilize prices, such as the rice liberalization law, while giving farmers technical support through the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, or RCEP. We are also calling for more opportunities for entrepreneurship, job creation, and sustainable livelihoods for our low-skilled labor force. Peace-building efforts, especially in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, must be sustained to encourage economic growth. We are optimistic that the implementation of the Bangsamoro Organic Law will introduce a new chapter of peace in the region and in the history of the Philippines. Lastly, we are continuing the push for reforms that facilitate the creation of new businesses and boost the outputs of firms, which will eventually translate to high productivity jobs. These are the reduction of foreign investment restrictions and the package 2 of the tax reform program, which will lower corporate taxes and rationalize investment incentives. Attracting investments, however, should not be limited to urban growth centers, but also to other regions and provinces. This is what the National Spatial Strategy aims to address. Improved regional transport infrastructure, for example, will create opportunities for production and create employment and livelihood opportunities in regions outside of Metro Manila. Rest assured, mga kababayan, we will keep working to ensure that we meet our targets so that every Filipino will be empowered to live a life that is matatag, maginhawa, at panatag. I wish everyone a good day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yusek Navarro. Before we proceed to the open forum, please remain seated as we distribute the press kits for your reference. Thank you.
basic food and plant food.
We now proceed to the open forum. We would like to remind everyone to please wait to be acknowledged before asking your question. Once acknowledged, please say your name and organization. Thank you very much. At this point, we are now open for your questions. Anyone? Yes, sir?
And then of inquire to ask parents because you adjusted the poverty figures in 2015, the first half was 27.6. For the full year, have you already adjusted it to inflation? Because we're still using, when we compare with the so it was 21.6%, but that was inflation 2006. Yeah. So have you already adjusted?
Okay. Right now, we're still processing the second visit for the FIUS because the data was collected in January 2019 for the second visit of 2018. So we will be presenting the results of the full year poverty statistics in by December 2019.
But definitely, it would not be the same figure. That when the full year 2015 figure will no longer be 21.6, probably higher.
It will not be.
Because the PDB is based on the assumption that the 2015 figure was 20.
Yes, because in comparing the 2018 to 2015, we need to have the same price. So we're going to use the price for the 2018 to get the poverty for the 2015.
So, a related question to you, Sec Navarro. The PDB target is 17.3 to 19.8 for 2018, but given that there were adjustments related to adjusted also to 2012 prices and to different figure, or it will still be the same target for the full year of 2018?
So, the PDP midterm updating is ongoing, but since it's the basket of prices that are adjusted, then we will do the adjustments based on that.
I also have another question. Because in the second half of last year was the time when the inflation peaked to 10, almost 10-year rise. Do you think it would impact on the full year figure, given that also especially rice prices were high in the second half of last year?
We are yet to see that. So what we presented is just for the first semester. So we hope that the impact won't be that much, but we are yet to see that.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, good morning. I'm Maki Pulido, ma'am, sa GMA. Ma'am, i-clarify ko lang, the first portion of your report, you said 10,000?
10,481.
So, when you say may 10,000, a family of 5, hindi na sila mahirap. Clarify nga, ma'am. Clarify. Kasi you based the other statistics on this family income, I'm guessing. So when you say, ma'am, that they have 10,000, can you clarify, ma'am?
Yung 10,481 is the minimum income needed to buy or needed to pay for the basic food and non-basic food needs ng family of 5. Family of 5 in a month. In a month. Okay? So, pag below doon, yun yung sinasabi namin na poverty, nasa poverty. Now, hindi namin sinasabi na porket may 10,000 ka, ay
Hindi ka na mahirap.
hindi ka na mahirap.
Pero kumakain ka.
Pero kumakain ka kasi nabili mo yung basic food mo at saka yung other non-food.
Ma'am, so ibig sabihin, ma'am, it means when you have that, nakakakain yung family of 5, nakakapagpadala siya ng anak sa, kasi non-food eh.
Non-food.
So napapadala niya sa eskwelahan yung anak niya, may pampamasahe siya, kompleto na ibig sabihin na. Hindi mo ba masyadong mababa yung 10,000 para pagbasihan?
That's for the national level. As Yusek Adoran said a while ago that may disparity diba, sa bawat region. So this is the national poverty threshold. So kung titignan mo ang NCR mataas, tapos mababa naman sa AR. So therefore, and then kung titignan mo, may pagkakaiba doon sa bawat poverty threshold ng bawat region. So it means, kung meron sila doon sa poverty threshold nila, kaya nilang mabili yung kailangan nilang food at kaya din nilang mabili, makakakain sila at saka makakabili sila ng mga other non-food necessities.
Ma'am, so sa computation po, kasi from this, nag-follow na po yung iba, di ba? Ilang pamilya yung hindi kakakain. You don't think that it's too low? I remember Neda denying the 10,000 pesos and saying na dapat 24,000. So kung tumaas po sa 24,000, ibig sabihin, mas madami yung pamilyang hindi nakakakain, nakakabili ng non-food?
Let me clarify the previous statements by NEDA officials. Although hindi ako yung kasama sa NEDA officials na yun. Those were in reaction to the initial statements then made by media. And some of the figures cited were sort of subjective, no? And but the average poverty threshold that is really official is what was released by the PSA. Now, why do we need a national average poverty threshold? Kasi yun yung doon nagkakaroon ng confusion ang media. Tinitingnan kasi ito na parang basehan ng quality of life, ng kung nakakagaan na ba sa buhay ang isang tao, which is a subjective perception. It differs, the perception of quality of life differs from one person to another. But on the average, at the national level, we really need to have a national average poverty threshold so that we can measure all citizens, all Filipinos against one standard, and then we can also have a clearer picture if on the average our programs, the government programs, are succeeding or not, and whether we need to make course corrections later on. But of course, merong disparities across regions, merong disparities in the perception of quality of life, and kung ano yung sapat na para sa isang pamilya. May disparities din yan ng perception sa kada pamilya. And there are factors that play a role in quality of life perception, or you may say measurement by one person, no? Kasama na dyan yung kung saan ka located, geographic location. Kasama na rin yung personal preferences mo na ano yung gusto mong job satisfaction, yung family life, family choices, at ano yung health choices, ano yung safety choices, ano yung transportation safety choices. So may iba-ibang aspects that are playing out, but we really need to have a measurement that is sort of averaging. So kaya we look at the required nutritional intake and non-food basic requirements.
Ma'am, last na po talaga. Don't you consider this too low? Yung ito pong 10,000 average, do you think it's too low?
I believe the advice by the experts that this is the national average.
Sapat na talaga yan, ma'am. Sapat.
So the word sapat is again subjective, no? So I believe the estimate of the experts that this is really the national average.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello po.
Thank you, Isaac Perez and Yusek Navarro.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello po. Alan Gatos po from DCWP. Paano ho ba natin nakuha yung 10,481? Paano ho yung nag-arrive doon? Kasama ho ba nabanggit ho yung non-food, food? Kasama ho ba rito yung renta, iba pang basic necessity para makuha yung 10,481 sa PSA po?
Una-una, may food basket. Ang kinuha namin ay ang reference namin ay 2012 food basket. Okay? And then from the 2012 food basket, kinompute yung prices. Kasi merong parang menu na sinet ang FNRI na dapat kailangan 2,000 kilocalories to have 2,100 kilocalories para yung nutrition value ng bawat family ay ma-attain. Okay? So therefore, from there, nag-compute kami ng prices based dun sa 2018 price. Okay? For the 2018 food threshold, okay? As you have seen na ang food threshold natin ay 7,337 pesos. Okay? Now, yung mga other non-basic food, ito yun. Yung mga basic necessities na kailangan, clothing and footwear, okay? Fuel, light, and water, housing maintenance and other minor repairs, rental or occupied dwelling units, medical care, education, transportation, and communication, non-durable furnishing, household operation, and personal care and effects. Ang food expenditure to total basic expenditure is 0.6983, and the rest are non-food basic. Now, hindi naman lahat yun every month. Hindi naman lahat ng households or families bumibili ng clothing and footwear. Okay? Ang monthly lang na yung fuel, light, and water. Okay? And then yung rental ng dwelling units. But of course, kung poor, alam natin na hindi naman yung iba talaga maaaring sariling nila yung bahay, pero yung lot where there is nakalocate yung bahay, minsan walang bayad. Okay? And then, education. Hindi naman monthly yan. Merong time na remember, this is the first semester. January to June 2018. So, maaaring may nasabit doon na tuition, pero based dun sa but depending on the school. May public school na libre. Okay? Na syempre kung nakakabayad ka sa education, mataas yung sweldo mo, mataas yung income. Okay? And so the others, yung personal care and effects, on a monthly basis to. Pero ito yung kaya nga yung 3,000 something plus na remainder dun sa 10,481. Kasi 7,337 na yung food eh. So yung remaining, per month yun ang natira. So ano ang magkakasya doon? Siyempre yung, kung let us say, ang sweldo mo ay mga 10,481, pagkakasyahin mo yun according to sa basic non-food mo.
37 food lang.
Yes. For the food yun. Kasi ang 0.69, kung kukunin mo yung percentage niya, is 4.6983.
Okay. Follow-up lang po, ma'am. Nandito po ako. Actual representation po ba yan nung talagang pamilya na 5 tao, member ng yung 10,000 481 na kapag yan talaga ay magkakasya sa kanila. At pati yung binabanggit nyo ng mga items na yan, na kasi ang basis po natin 2012, 2018 po yung yung ginamit po natin.
2012 yung basket.
Basket.
Pero yung prices na ginamit namin ay 2018. 2018 prices. Yung current prices sa 2018. Okay. Pero yung food basket niya ay based sa 2012. Okay? At binase namin yon dun sa menu na minimum na requirements for food na kaya mong makuha yung 2,100 kilocalories based dun sa advice ng FNRI, Food and Nutrition Research Institute.
2,000 calories.
Ulitin ko lang ho. Yun ho ba yung actual na representasyon para sa pamilya na 5 yung miyembro?
Okay. Ang sabi namin kasi, yung poverty threshold is the minimum amount that you need to buy the basic food needs at saka basic non-food needs ng family of 5. So it's the minimum. Hindi namin sinasabi na yun na. It's the minimum amount. Same with the food threshold. It's the minimum amount that you need, that a family of 5 needs in order to buy the basic food.
Thank you, Asset Perez. Do we have more questions from the group? Yes, sir.
Good morning, Bruce Rodriguez from ABS-CBN News. Siguro maybe to clarify it further, could we say that this is the amount of money they need maybe to not to go hungry or to meet their basic needs? Yes. Can we categorically say that, or is that subjective again? And just another question is also I guess one of the major anti-poverty programs of government is CCT. Can we maybe reveal more details about that? How it was able to grow? How much more Filipinos are included? I heard kanina there's a lot more members of CCT. So how is it really helping address the poverty incidence here in the country? Thank you.
Yung first question mo kasi is again touching on the subjective kung that's enough for them not to go hungry. Hunger again is it can be subjective, no? Hindi ka pa satiated even though you've already taken in yung prescribed by the Food and Nutrition Research Institute na 2,100 kilocalories, no? So talagang kailangan natin na gano'n na tingnan kung ano yung average. So let me relate it to the question kanina na ito ba ay yung actual na kailangan. So again, actual is subjective kasi iba-iba yung actual na kailangan ng bawat pamilya. Average, so it's really an average. So and we need that hindi lamang sa poverty assessment, but in many facts of life, we need to look at yung kailangan natin on the average, no, to do certain objectives. So again, yung food subsistence na yon, ang kailangan on the average ng isang pamilya na may miyembrong 5 para ma-meet yung 2,100 kilocalories. Now, perhaps some of those families will still feel hungry kasi they were able to meet the nutritional requirements, but by not eating the food, the kinds of food that will satiate them, that will satisfy them. But there are perhaps families that will feel that enough na, satiated na sila in spending that amount. But again, by the way, hindi ibig sabihin na kapag nandun sa poverty threshold na yun na hindi na mahirap, yun yung threshold para sabihin na mahirap ang pamilyang Pilipino. So kumbaga kapag nandoon and pababa, yun ang mahirap. Now, on the effect of the conditional cash transfer, can I ask Asik Aloy because he has the details.
Again, the main source of the reduction from 2015 first semester to 2018 is your increase in your wages. This is the main part. Again, the transfers are supplemented that. So in terms of the CCT program, the government has maintained the number of CCT beneficiaries to 4.4 million families over the past 10 years. Hopefully, first, again, we want that to expand. However, in the past years, there were top-ups. There was a top-up of 600 additional pesos per month per family for the rice subsidy in late 2017, and that is already a top-up. And then the other top-up was the UCT in the first, it was given in the first, most of the CCT families were given the top-up of UCT in the first semester. So again, this has helped augment the incomes and help address the inflationary impact in 2017 and even in the first half of 2018. So again, we're saying that the growth momentum has spurred increases in salaries and wages, especially of the bottom 30% of the population. And social programs augment these incomes, and again gives them a buffer, addresses vulnerability for the poorest 30% or 40% of the families.
May I just have one quick follow-up? Of course, we also rebased our inflation basket in using 2012 prices right before, and we saw some. We had a different base na 2012 base year. Yes, sorry for that. We also saw inflation rates somehow going down because of that rebasing. How are we expecting maybe so of course, I think in 2015, you still base it on 2,000, if I'm not mistaken, prices? Or, right, 2,000 prices. So how would that impact maybe the poverty incidence for the whole year? Kasi syempre parang magkaiba na yung base, or were we able to reconcile this?
Okay. Explain ko lang na ang pinagkukuhanan namin nung sa food basket ay yung 2012, hindi yung price. Kasi ang kinukuha namin pricing for the poverty threshold and food threshold ay yung current price ng 2018. Okay? So, ang rebasing ginagamit namin pag sa FIES, yung income, yung real income sa yung current income. So, doon papasok yung rebasing ng income. Okay? Pero pagdating sa food and poverty threshold, yung current prices.
Thank you again, Asik Perez. For our next question, yes sir, you were raising your hand a while ago.
I'm Bim Santos from TV5. Reiterate lang ma'am yung question earlier about yung second half. Gaano kalaking change ma'am, considering na second half nga last year nag-record high yung inflation and about 2/3 ng poverty threshold is food. So gaano kalaking change dun sa poverty picture pwedeng asahan on a full year basis?
Hindi pa natin, ayoko sagutin pa muna kasi as we have said na we have just newly, we are just currently processing the results. Okay. And then, by December, pwede na i-release namin. Kaya, hindi ko pa siya pwede masabi sa'yo kung gaano kalaki.
Safe to say na it's markedly different kasi malaki yung pinagbago ng pressure.
Well, depende because in the first semester may mga special occasion, and then sa second semester then may special occasion. pag may special occasion like, for example, may bonus, pag December, di ba? Na yung siguro yung ibang, tapos sa first semester ng 2018, nagkaroon ng mga increases ng sweldo. Okay? So, depende sa manahan namin, hindi po pa pwedeng masubscribe. Okay.
Again, traditionally, the second half, the second semester, the full year poverty rate is always lower than the first semester. From 2006, it ranges between 2.3% to in 2006, 2009, the difference was between the first half and the full year was 2.3. In 2012, 2.7, and in 2015, it's 4.7. Mataas na yung difference between 2012 and 2015. So traditionally, the full year is lower than the first semester. Why? All things being equal, mas mataas ang income that they get in the second half. Again, the bonuses are there, the remittances come in December, the family, dumarating yun, the bonuses come in there. What we hope is that the increase in prices, the increase in income will offset the increase in prices in the second sem. And what we're also saying was that there were additional transfers done in the second quarter, like the Pantawid Pasada program of UOTR, and the UCT that were not the top up of the CCT, but for others, that was done the second semester. And then again, also well, the income. So we're hoping that again the additional the increase in income in the second semester would offset the increase in the inflation in the second sem. And traditionally, well, in terms of income, traditionally it's higher. But then the only difference now in 2018 is that in the second semester we have higher inflation. So we have to wait until until the official release of PSA to determine that if again did inflation was it have high impact in poverty, and also for us to determine if we are on track with our PDP targets, because we base our PDP targets on the full year and not so we're eagerly awaiting for the release of PSA.
Follow-up Neda, yung ganitong pace, ma'am, poverty reduction over a 3-year window, ano ba to your is this satisfactory? Yung ganitong clip?
Yes, satisfactory, but of course, we won't stop at that. We are challenged by the remaining regional disparities, and we are also challenged by local issues like persistent conflicts that are affecting the improvements in the poverty situation in certain provinces. So it's satisfactory, but still we are challenged. We want it to decline significantly. And let's hope that by December we will have better figures, full year figures.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am. Katrina Domingo from ABS-CBN.com. Ma'am, clarify ko lang, just to double check, the 16.1 equates to 4 million Filipinos?
Yes.
Yes. Families. 4 million Filipino families. Okay, ma'am. If the 22.2% in 2015 is how many Filipino families?
5 million.
Ma'am, so is it safe to say na categorically, because Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez said last year that the government's target is to reduce poverty rate by 14% in 2022. So is it safe to say that the government is on track in meeting that target, given that yung approximation nila was to reduce poverty rate by at least 1 million a year, pero ito in a span of 3 years?
I think it's a reasonable expectation that we will be able to achieve that at the end of the Philippine Development Plan period.
The family is different from the number of Filipinos, like so normally, but so it's not you have to determine whether families or
Sir, so it's not apples to apples, families tapos individuals yung target nila. So, meron po ba kayong like a very simple computation that we can cite?
Meron dito sa na yung equivalent niya ay 23.1 million Filipinos. Individuals.
Ang umangat. Ito. Oo.
Andiyan sa
I think one way to look at it is that if let's say if the number of the household size is the same across the entire country, then the range of poverty reduction amongst family will be the same amongst the population. However, we look at here the rate across family and the population is a little bit disparity. Mainly because the poor people are those with higher, larger family sizes. So there's a difference when you compute the number of families vis-a-vis the number of individuals.
Thank you, Isaac Abad Santos, for the additional information. For the next question, yes, sir, Ben from PDI.
Poverty incidence rate in all regions except Metro Manila declined during that period, while Metro Manila has the lowest poverty rate. What happened? Why is it not in tune with the other regions that whose poverty levels fell? Nag-increase siya from 4.6 in 2015 to 4.9. Tapos all other regions declined. So, what's so different about Metro Manila the past 3 years? Or can we say that the regions are probably developing faster than Metro Manila?
The PSA is looking for the details, but that's a feasible explanation. On the other regions are, having a faster rate of improvement when it comes to poverty reduction than Metro Manila. But let me look at the details for Metro Manila.
Kailangan subukan nila ang 10,000. Kailangan subukan nila ang 10,000. Mabanhay lang. Pero poverty reduction. Alam mo, may mga case study ako na nakikita ng dalawa. They skip this.
Tumaas ng konti in Metro Manila. From 4.6 to 4.9.
Galit sa akin ng meta.
This going downwards for everyone else. Why in Metro Manila we still saw it? Good shop.
10,000 naman.
So, well, we can only have conjectures at this point, but the PSA will be analyzing the details in the coming days, and including the figures for certain provinces. For example, yung Capiz, it's a good performer. Nasa least poor region. So in the case of Metro Manila, we can only have conjectures at this point, but one possible explanation is because Metro Manila felt the food inflation more strongly. Kasi that's what we observed during that season of high inflation, yung especially yung rice inflation, the queuing for rice, we observed that in Metro Manila. So, but that's again a conjecture. Our experts, statistician experts, will look closely at more closely at the numbers.
Thank you very much. Do we have more questions from the group? No more questions? Yes, Ms. Makin Pulina. Yes.
Ma'am, pasensya na ha. So, how did you come up with the 10,481?
Okay. You need the details.
Bakit ma'am? Why did you settle on 10,000? Yun lang ma'am.
Hindi kami nag-settle sa 10,000.
How
But
was it?
because of ano. Okay, nandito yung aming mga nag-compute. Okay?
Tapos ma'am, kunyari diba sabi kasi ni Yusek Navarro, below 10,481 because it's the poverty threshold.
Yes.
Yun ka na mahirap, diba? Below 10,481. So, kung nasa 10,481 ka,
Hindi ka mahirap.
hindi, pag nasa 10,481 ka, ano ka? Hindi ka mahirap? Hindi ka na mahirap.
Exact.
Kasi, hindi, well, we have to, ano ma'am we have to describe So, kasi naalala ko, this was described decent So, kung kayo ma'am, with 10,481, decente na ba ang pamumuhay mo nun? Kasi kumakain ka na, naipapadala mo na yung mga anak mo sa eskwelahan. Pagka may sakit, ibig sabihin ba, maipapadala mo sa ospital, makakabili ka ba ng gamot? Because that is your threshold, 10,481. So, how are we going to describe 10,481 for a family of 5?
Yung pong family of 5, iba-iba po ang composition natin yon. So, meron tayong pwedeng 5, mag-asawa, may 3 maliit na anak. On the extreme side, you can have a father and a mother and 3 working unmarried children. Tama po, unmarried and working. So, sila yung extreme side na kayang-kaya nilang pakainin yung sarili nila. But on the contrary, yung meron kang 5 na pwede kang isa lang father and mother, isa lang ang nagtatrabaho. So yung 4, sinusustentuhan niya. Okay, how did we do this in a survey? In a survey, we did not limit the number of families to only 5. We covered a sample of 180,000 households nationwide na spread across, making sure that we can provide reliable estimates up to highly urbanized cities. So, hindi lang po probinsya. So, ngayon po, kinukuha namin yung income and expenditure kinuha namin yung income and expenditure ng 180,000 families. Ito pong 180,000 families na to had varying family sizes from an individual to as many as maybe more than 8, 9. Pero kailangan po natin ng tinatawag na average. So, paano po ba natin i-average nun? So, kukunin po natin yung income, yung kabuuan, income and expenditure ng lahat ng family and get an indicator for every family na per capita. So, by dividing the total family income by the number of the members, so we get the per capita.
So, if you have, ma'am, 10,481, you have, decent ka na. Decente ka nang mabubuhay?
Pag sinasabi niyo pong decent, ang sinasabi po namin, yung family ng with that income will be able to buy yung food na kailangan niya, prescribe to meet the nutritional requirement at based doon sa prices na nandun sa lugar niya. So, pwede po, at saka plus the non-food component na non-basic. So, ito po, merong hindi kasama, kunyari o example, yung saluho or yung mga hindi naman basic na pangangailangan, kagaya po ng tobacco. So, consumption, alcohol, hindi po ito basic. So, hindi po ito nilalagyan ng allowance doon. Hindi kasama yung presyong pambibili niya doon. Kung iisipin po natin na magsisigarilyo, inom ng alak, kasi yun ang nakasanayan, yun ang preferred ng members of the family, hindi po yun kasama doon.
Kasi nakalagay
So, ganun po yung mangyayari. Ngayon, yung pong meal na yun, nagbabari po ito by region. Tapos, gagamitan po namin ng presyo based dun sa CPI prices na kinukuha namin currently for the year. So, 2018, yung 2015, nag-adjust po kami. Bakit kami nag-adjust sa 2015? Kasi po, yung dating basket ng 2006, in-update po namin yung basket for the CPI ng 2012. Bakit po kailangan mag-update? Meron pong items na nasa 2006, wala na po siya doon sa aming 2012. Example ho, gatas. Dati ay ibang brand, yung brand na yon na existing noong 2006, hindi na po siya existing ng 2012, kaya po kailangan palitan. Palitan namin yung item na yon. So may corresponding change din dun sa prices nila. Kaya po nagkakaroon ng pagbabago. So ngayon po, ito ngayon, ang mangyayari, i-compare po namin yung lumalabas na per capita na nako-compute namin sa survey with a particular threshold. So tapos po nun, dun namin nakukuha yung incidence. At yung pricing, pag nakuha po namin yung price nung sa food, tsaka po namin i-divide by the constant.
Okay, ganito na lang. We will conduct a briefing on how we are computing yung methodology. Because it's not really this time para i-explain lahat sa inyo ang detalye. And also, Yusek Adores will be having a conference pa. Mahalaga din yung another conference yan na iniwanan lang nila, okay, para lang pumunta dito. But we will do a briefing for the press kung paano kinocompute on details. No? At bakit ito kailangan? Bakit ito yung menu na pinescribe ng FNRI? At saka sinasabi namin kung ito ay minimum requirement. The minimum requirement at saka yung requirement ng nutrition. So siguro kung ang ma-attain mo yung nutrition na 2,100 kilocalories is also part ng decent, then we would say decent na siya. Okay? Kung meron kang 10,481 pesos. Okay? But, para malinawa, para maging clear sa inyo ang lahat, then we will do a press briefing. Dito rin sa aming after siguro nito, if you want, pwede. Para lang makita nyo kung paano kinocompute ito. Hindi dahil gusto namin ito, pero gusto namin talaga mabigay sa inyo yung totoong ginagawa para ma-attain itong poverty threshold and food threshold.
Let me add something. The government naman admits that there are constant improvements to be made in methodologies and indicators. And one improvement that the government is doing when it comes to measuring poverty is coming up with what's called a multi-dimensional poverty indicator. And the Philippine Statistics Authority also released that last year, and that has 13 indicators of deprivation. So this is an admission na hindi enough na tumingin lang tayo sa isang indicator. And right now, in this session, in this press conference, we are looking at one indicator, but that's not enough. Go back to previous statements by the PSA, and you will see one improvement in measurement, and that is the multidimensional poverty indicator. At the same time, hindi lang poverty reduction program ang dapat natin tingnan. One is, because nagbabago nga yung one aspect of computation, and that is the number of Filipinos, the population. So we also have family planning programs, reproductive health programs that aim to manage the rate of increase of the population. And it's good that one of the events that Secretary Pernia attended and pushed for na programs ay related to population and development, kaya wala siya dito. And at the same time, I would like to take this opportunity to say na rin na I will have to leave in a few minutes kasi I'm currently hosting the Asian Productivity Organization. The last time that the Philippines hosted this was in 1998. So I don't know if you have representatives, your news outfits have representatives. It's currently happening at the Marriott Hotel. We asked the Philippine Information Agency to disseminate the information about this event. But let me tell you that it's in Marriott Hotel. So the Philippines is now hosting that.
Thank you, Yusek Navarro. Do we have more questions?
Last na lang talaga.
Yes, for the last question.
Ma'am, pasensya na, no, kung medyo makulit kami dun. Ako personally, makulit ako dun sa part na kapag yung 10,000, bumaba doon, hindi ka na mahirap ka. So, paano namin siya i-label? Kasi, pasensya na, kasi gagamitin namin siya sa balita, sa istorya. Kasi baka pag sinabi namin nakakaalwal, nakakaraos, or hindi ka mahirap, baka sabihin nyo, hindi nyo sinabi yun. Hindi namin sinabi yun. So, paano namin nun siya i-label, i-categorize? Paano namin sasabihin?
Okay. Kasi yung 10,481 pesos, as we have said, yun yung pinaka-threshold. Okay? So, kung meron ka nung amount, mabibili mo yung basic food needs mo, at saka mabibili mo rin somehow, according to your family needs, nung non-food. Kasi yung non-food marami. So kung isipin nyo, makakasya ba yung 3,000 plus sa non-food? Electricity pa lang, mahal na. Yun ay, kung average income ang pag-usapan mataas sa 10,000, kaya niya, diba? Yung ano. Now, sinet itong threshold na to para makita na ilan families ang above dun sa nakaka-attain nung lalo na sa food ng